It's the weekly show with David J. Maloney. This week, David talks to comedian and YouTuber Jermaine Funnymaine Johnson. And now, here's your host, David J. Maloney.
Welcome to everyone at home, and I would normally say our studio audience to the weekly show. I'm your host, David J. Maloney. I say normally because we'd usually shoot the show before a small studio audience at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. But unfortunately, we are still shooting from home due to now increased coronavirus concerns. In fact, this is just a green screen. Hey, Marty, can you put me at a college football game? So, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he called President Biden on Monday to discuss foreign affairs, but couldn't get through until Tuesday night. As it turns out, the battery was dead on Joe's Motorola brick phone. Oh, and did you hear about this? During his weekly general audience at the Vatican, Pope Francis had to pause to answer a call on his cell phone. It was someone inquiring about the Pope-mobile's expiring warranty. In Vail, Colorado, wildlife officials were called to remove a bull moose stuck in a parking garage. The bull was unable to get out of the garage after losing his ticket. According to a new report, only 12% of American high school seniors can pass a basic U.S. history exam. That's actually the lowest percentage since our country was founded in 1922. And lastly, in Utahville, South Carolina, a man who took an emergency bathroom break in the woods was shocked to find human remains. He was startled, and at first he thought, when did I eat this guy? On tonight's show, we've got a comedian who brings lots of laughter into our homes during college football season, especially if you're an Alabama fan. His YouTube series parodying how Alabama fans watch football shows up in our timelines after every game, being shared by friends and family alike. We've got Jermaine Funnymaine Johnson on the show tonight to chat about his journey into comedy, his famous parody videos, and of course, college football. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back. Our featured guest tonight is a truly special character we always expect to see on social media timelines every single time there's a big game during college football. He became a viral sensation with his videos that parody how Alabama fans watch football games, and he's not slowed down since. Here to chat with us about his comedy career, his viral videos, and the upcoming college football season, please welcome Jermaine Funnymaine Johnson. Hey, Funnymaine, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, David, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this. Let's have some fun. I'm an open book. It's whatever we want to talk about tonight.
So, first off,
even the colors that I'm wearing.
Yeah, I know. When I saw him, like, he's wearing blue. He's wearing blue, so I had to don the crimson. So how'd you get the name Funnymaine?
It literally was only supposed to be the back end of my MySpace handle. To give y'all a timeline, I started comedy in 2005, so trying to come up with a good handle like myspace.com/something in late 2005, 2006. Jermaine was taken. Comedian Jermaine was taken. I don't know if that guy is still in business or not, but I was trying to find something, and I came on Funnymaine. So I figured that would tell people my name and let them know I do comedy. And it stuck for some reason. Well, it was not intended to be my name, but I love it now. Wouldn't depart with it for anything.
You're from Alabama originally, yeah?
Absolutely. Born and raised in Alabama.
So what was life like for you growing up?
It was fun, man. A pretty loving but disciplined household. My dad was a military guy, also a pastor, and just a good old country boy. My mom, just a big supporter of everything that he wanted to do, and just a loving, nurturing mom. And you know, she passed when me and my brothers were younger. We were stair-step children, so we were 7, 8, 9, and 10
Oh, wow.
when she passed, and then Dad got remarried. Now we got extra brothers and sisters, and it's just, I'm the youngest of everybody. But it was a big family, big loving family. We're still all close to this day.
That reminds me of your stand-up joke about kind of all the names in your family sounding like a law firm.
Yeah, and that's where it comes from. You know, we're just a big old mixed family, a lot of personalities, and I really think that, looking back on it, that helps me to connect with people out in the world. You know, I'm used to being around tons of people, used to dealing with a lot of personalities day in and day out. So maybe everybody that I meet, I'm like, oh, he's like my brother, or she's like my sister. So I just handle them like I handle them.
So were you the class clown?
I absolutely was a class clown. The psychiatrist would probably say I was young and looking for attention. I just love to laugh, man. I just smile all day.
Do you find that as a comedian, a lot of the events and experiences in your life find their way into your comedy?
Oh, absolutely. That's stage is the couch. You know, it's therapeutic. That's where you get it all out. And then not only that, but me telling these stories, a lot of people that listen are like, oh, I relate to that. And like, oh, that's a good perspective on that. Now, I've had people come up to me and show like, man, I've been dealing with this, that, and the third for all my life. And then to hear you talk about the same thing and be so lighthearted about it, it really, helped me get over it. I mean, that people have said that to me numerous times.
Well, I think generally with comedy, they say that it either has to be at somebody else's expense or it has to be based in truth.
Absolutely.
And it's based in your truth, or based in and therefore people associate with it, and then they find obviously the humor in it. So you're best known for your hilarious football videos parodying how Alabama fans watch football. Was football a big part of your life growing up?
Oh, it was a huge part, even though I never got to play organized. Keep in mind, being the youngest, that also meant for a good bit I was the smallest of everyone. So I was my mom's last baby. She never wanted me to get hurt. She was very overprotective, always had me right here. And I remember after she passed and I wanted to sign up for football, this is my dad's exact words. He said, no, you can't play football because if your mama was here, she'd kill me. So that was the end of my football career that never started. I did play a lot in the neighborhood, and I thought I was pretty good at football. Just had a pretty good football like IQ. I definitely would have been on defense because I like to hit. I do not like getting hit. Not fun. My dad was born in Opelika. My mom was born in Tuscaloosa, but they were both big Bama fans. And then
so even from Opelika, he was a Bama fan, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's, people ask me all the time, being born in Opelika, like, how did I become a Bama fan? Like, I didn't have a choice in that house. But then when he got remarried, this whole side of the family, they're all Auburn fans. My sisters graduated from Auburn. My nieces and nephews, their children, they're at Auburn. I'm assuming their kids will one day go to Auburn. So it's just, we got it all in our household. We really do.
So you're the class clown. You, at what point prior to, I mean, and I'm not talking about when you started doing the videos, I'm talking about the stand-up. At what point did you start to think, maybe I can make a career out of comedy? What started that journey for you?
It was two of my buddies, Roy Wood Jr. and Trey Williamson. Me and Trey, we grew up in the same neighborhood together, and Roy had started doing his thing around Birmingham, so he and some other older vets from Birmingham, like Ricky Smiley, Sir Walt, Henry Welch, they were doing their thing. So these were the first comedians I actually saw. And then when Trey got into it and I came to a few of his shows, I was like, I kind of like how this feels. Like, I like making people laugh, but I was scared to get on stage. And man, after writing him a few jokes and hanging around him and Roy, and they both bounced to LA, I was like, man, let me just give it a shot,
So have you ever actually hit the road, like done a full-blown like tour?
Oh, yeah. 2019, we did, I believe it was 19 cities.
Oh, wow.
And it was amazing, man, coast to coast. And then in 2020, of course, we had a 22-city tour scheduled. Everybody's buying tickets. Everybody's excited. Boom. COVID. So that was a wrap on that. And yeah, and I'm just waiting to get back out there full speed, and try to get back on that road, man, coast to coast. I love the stage. I really do.
Have you got any kind of funny, goofy, or crazy story from your time of actually when you were doing the stand-up?
Oh, do I? The main memory that always comes to mind, I forget the year. I'm going to say 17 or 18. I'm doing a show in Huntsville. It's packed, wall to wall. Everybody's got on crimson or representing the team. They can't have a good time. Huntsville always treats me right. And this lady, about 3 rows back, she's been having a really good time. Yeah. And she's just, she's excited from the beginning. She just kept screaming and hollering out. And I was like, ma'am, you okay? She's like, oh, I love you. I was like, I love you too. And she was like,
yeah, she's like, play Freebird.
Yeah. She said, I came to see you. And I was like, ma'am, I see you too. I know you're here. And then she said, I want to kiss you. And my fiance, I was engaged at the time. The fiance was right there. Before I could tell this woman, ma'am, that's a bad idea, she was making her way toward the stage, and probably in the next 5 seconds, she had grabbed me and was like kissing me. And it was like, I was trying to hold her back with one arm, and then I'm peeking at the fiance at the time. So that was wild.
Well, let's talk about football. So your football parodies have been some of the best parts of the football season for like the past 5 years or so. How did the idea for your original Alabama football fan parody come about?
That I really didn't have a formula. I just wanted to document how I was feeling that day. You'd actually have to go back to the 2015 season before the video started. I was doing like other little videos about Bama. I think if Bama had like a loss or something, I would do a little video. And then by 2016, I was like, I want to do something more steady this time. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just said, I don't want to wait until they lose a game and then make a video. So I was literally in Nashville with my iPhone at the hotel. I propped it up on a bottled water and just recorded myself reacting to the games, and it got like 3 million views. And I didn't know what was going on. It's like, huh? I thought I was making it for my Facebook friends. And now I got about 500,000 more Facebook friends. So even after the first one, I didn't know it was a thing. The second one, it did well. And then the third one, I'm like, okay, this is something now. Like, okay, what do I do? So my advice to myself was, man, just keep being yourself. Just don't overthink it. Just keep being yourself. That's apparently what got them here.
So what do you think makes football different in the South and Alabama in particular?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a few factors. Number one, we've always just been better than other regions at it. We really understand it as a science, as a business, as a game. We're just ahead of everybody. College football is just what we do good in the South.
Well, and I also think the lack of a pro team then allows that energy to be focused towards the college team.
Well, I think a professional team could make it here. Most recently, I remember the Birmingham Iron. I remember the Barracudas. I remember the Stallions, the Americans. The key is winning. It could be anything as long as there's winning involved. Football has just been the thing that we've been, good at. If we had, created professional badminton players, I'm pretty sure we follow badminton, but we love to win. Now that we've got the feeling of what it means to be a champion and to be the best at something, we don't want to relinquish that. So, the culture is we're not going to settle for mediocrity when possible.
So last season, Be honest, beginning of the season, no Tua. Did you think Alabama was going to steamroll its way to another title?
I've said this many times on social media. I did in no way, shape, or form thought that the 2020 version of Alabama would be better than the 2019 version, even though the 2019 version, came up short of a national championship, where they didn't even make it to the playoffs. So I didn't think they were going to be better, but never doubt this talent that we have on this team, and never doubt Coach Saban. These kids were locked in, and I've made the case recently that I believe, top to bottom, this was the best team of the Saban era. And I'm talking about the 2020 team. A lot of people say, pump your brakes.
That's a bold statement. Yeah.
Yeah. But what about 2009? What about 2016? I said, well, when you think about the distractions that come with being a player at Alabama, it's like you said, losing all the talent that you lost, COVID, being in the middle of a pandemic, it was so easy for these kids to, number one, just dial it in and lose focus.
Hunker down and focus, yeah. In. So what would you say surprised you the most about last season?
Devontae. Devontae Smith. He was unstoppable. I mean, he started up here. We first heard of him in national championship game, and when he caught the pass from Tua, and you think, wow, that's a great catch. Good job, kid. Maybe they weren't checking him because they didn't know what he was capable of, but I think he got sent on that route because the people that practice with him every day was like, listen, he's the guy. And Tua threw that ball to him with the utmost confidence, so they knew a lot more than we knew. I think Saban put Tua into that game because he had the utmost confidence in him. But just to see what he did to these future pros at LSU and at Auburn and Texas A&M, he just could not be stopped. He looked amazing.
A lot's gone on in the football world since the end of the 2020 football season. One hot topic has been the changes to the name, image, and likeness laws governing college football. What are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I was a vocal proponent of it for a long time. I think it's only right for these kids to get their just due, and they're still not getting everything that they're worth. They may not get every single penny that they're worth, but they generate billions and millions of dollars for college football overall. And people were making an argument like, hey, well, they get scholarships and books. I said, hey, man, I know plenty of people on scholarship that don't have to have their bodies torn apart like that to earn a scholarship. Let those guys make some money and take care of their families.
Do you see it affecting the game in any way? I mean, do you think there are certain teams that will especially benefit from this? And are there some teams that will definitely be hurt by it?
I think that college football will adapt. Keep in mind, there was a time where they thought adding face masks was going to kill the game. There was a time when they thought adding more minutes to the quarter was going to kill the game. There was a time when they thought integration was going to kill the game. There was a time when they thought conference championships would be the end of the game. They thought the playoffs would be the end of college football. Adapts because we love college football, and we'll figure it out sooner than later.
So another massive development, the talks and inclusion of Texas and Oklahoma into the SEC in the coming years. What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't think it was going to happen. I really didn't. But now that it's almost all said and done, I mean, you got to look past what us mere mortals are thinking that a conference could be. The SEC, to me, has bigger plans. I think my personal thought is that they eventually want to become their own governing body.
So let's talk about Alabama's team this year. No Mac Jones, no Smith, Waddle, two big holes to fill in the O-line. What are the stories you're most excited to follow with this year's team?
This year for me, all eyes are on the defense. We haven't had I would say, an elite defense in a few seasons. But all accounts out of Tuscaloosa is that, with Malachi Moore leading the way, with DJ Dale and those guys on the front seven, got some of our good linebackers back. I'm excited about having an elite defense again. So that's what I'll be watching. With offense, maybe this is just a little too cocky, but I don't worry about the offense like I used to. We recruited well. We got some great weapons coming back. So I don't want to get too cocky, but I'm not worried about them. My eyes will be locked in on the defense and then seeing if the special teams, particularly the kicking game, can keep their momentum going.
Yeah, do we want to talk about the Alabama kicking game?
Sure, that's fine. I mean, I got wood right here and knocked on it, but he didn't miss a kick last year, man. 100%.
So, what is your way too early prediction for the CFP finalist season? You got one?
Oh man, right now it's probably for my 4 picks, right? I probably have to go with the usual suspects. Unfortunately, I don't see any surprises. Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, maybe Oklahoma. Yeah, I know there's nothing exciting about that, but
So, well, let's talk about COVID a little bit.
Sure.
You had, I noticed that you also had another show that you were putting out. And tell us a little bit about that, and how has COVID impacted your ability to do that?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. A lot of people still are not confident enough to come out of the house and just be around a big group of people. We still got a lot of comedy clubs and venues that are taking a lot of precautions, and I'm all about precautions myself. So I definitely understand.
Well, let's talk about how people can follow you and people can watch some of these other projects that you've done.
Well, I made it very simple for everybody. I got the same name on all social media. So this is your time. You drop a nice little lower third right there. Mm-hmm. Thank you, editor. So it's at Funnymaine. That's my handle on any social media that I'm on. And the website is funnymaine.com. Maine is spelled just like the state. It's derived from my name, Jermaine. So you can go to funnymaine.com and get all the social media links.
Now, have you got anything that's planned for the future?
It's just all about helping people have a good time. We're going to talk some college football, of course. But then it's also just little silly stuff, man, to help people take their mind off of everything they're seeing on the news, everything that's just going on in the world with the pandemic.
And the season's ramping up, so you'll be back to doing the parody videos in no time, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I know the people that follow me, if I don't post a video, man, they get upset. So I will definitely be ready.
Well, I appreciate you being on so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Jermaine Funnymaine Johnson.
Hey, David, thank you so much for having me. Blessings to you and your show moving forward, man. This was excellent. Thank you.
That is our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. A special thanks to Jermaine Funnymaine Johnson for joining us. We'll be going on a brief hiatus for a few weeks, but we will be back with brand new shows when we return. Stay safe, everyone.